Hi everyone. I'm Tianyi. I'm from University of Barcelona and I come from China. So today I'm here to discuss the role of women and their involvement in Chinese archaeology from the 20th century to the present. So this work would be divided into 4 sections to discuss, which are state of art, objectives, methodology, and in the end, I will show you some outstanding representative women archaeologists in China. Let's begin with a look at the first part, state of art. So in this section, it will focus on the literature review of women and the research gap of the study. And here are a few literatures that have documented systematically about women in archaeology. Well, as you can see, the relevant study, Feminist Archaeology and Feminist Heritage Volume 1 and 2 were published in 2011 and in 7 years later. And there are also a few other papers available, some of which are published in 2014 and one more published in the last year. But moving on to the next point, we see several academic conferences about women in archaeology. Well, I'm sure there may be more on this topic, but what I've listed here are the publicly available on the internet. For example, here's the inauguration of the first symposium about women in archaeology, women in archaeology and the feminist heritage, held by Nanjing University in 2010. And here's a picture of an exhibition on women archaeologists launched by Shandong University 9 years later. So it's worth noting that until today, the academic world has not paid enough attention to the female archaeologists who have made great contributions in Chinese archaeology. Well, as you can see, most of the literature discussed still pertain to gender archaeology, and very little academic research have focused on the invisibility or marginalization of women archaeologists, as well as the long-standing gender biases that exist within the sector. What's more, women have largely remained at a descriptive stage, and research methodology has also been limited to documentary research and data analysis. So, following this line of thought, which brings us neatly to our next point, is the reason why they are always being marginalized and the way how they participated in archaeology. So here's the basic objectives of my research plan, which includes rediscovering women, examining their participation, and uncovering the gender bias, analyzing their professional situations, and trying to produce more critical biographies. Well, to research this in the same vein, let's look at the methodologies that I used in this study, which include using publications, data, oral history, and case study or biographies of some women. Well, on the right side, we could see that in this picture, Zheng Zhaoyu, she's one of the greatest women archaeologists. That at that moment she was introducing some artifacts to the staff of Nanjing Museum. Well, in the next point, I want to show you some data about this study. So in this picture, as we can see, here's a chart with information about the number of female archaeologists born in each decade from the beginning of the last century to the 70s. And here I present a few sets of data designed to show comparisons in terms of the field of study and their level of career position and the education. Well, in this picture, obviously, more women tend to choose cultural heritage and museology as their major, and only very few women would like to do field work. Well, most men choose field archaeology as their major, which means most women seem to be doing administrative or publicity work, with very few actually out in the field excavating. And here is a chart depicting the categories of study chosen by women in each decade. Each period is characterized by its own social historical context which is essential to analyze it within the context of this time. And here is a chart about men's and women's position in the workplace. And we could see the comparison of the percentage of men and women reaching a higher or middle rank in the workplace. So, and here is a chart about the educational level of men and women in archaeology. So based on looking at the data, we could see that in the same time frame, there are way fewer women than men involved. What's more, men and women are also largely distributed in academic center and academic marginalization positions, respectively. So this imbalance in gender structure is obviously a problem that needs to be solved as soon as possible in Chinese archaeology. Well, on the next point, let me show you briefly some outstanding women who have dedicated their whole lives to archaeology. Well, due to the time limitation, I've just picked out a few representative women. The first one, Rong Yuan, she's a great folklorist, epigraphist, cataloger, and one of the earliest representative of the female pioneers. And You Zhou, she's calligrapher, paleographer, archaeologist, and poet. And Zheng Zhaoyu, who I've mentioned before, she's the first female pioneer in Chinese Museum, Korea, and also the first director of Nanjing Museum since 1949. And well, here are some images showing the present representatives of women in archaeology. The picture on the right side shows us about an archaeological team which is composed entirely of women. With Yan, she's on the left side, she's serving as a leader of the team. As we come to an end, let's revisit the main points about this research. Here I've listed some points that I believe are worth exploring further in the future, like what is actually affecting women's participation in the field of archaeology, like gender bias or barriers for women to enter the fields, social or family attitudes, historical background, or promotion difficulty. So, well, I'm certain that women have faced far more challenges than what I've outlined here. And I believe that underscoring the need for more in-depth investigation in the future is much more needed now. So that's basically what I want to share to you in this conference. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you're interested. Thanks very much for your attention. That's all. Thanks.